guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to recreate the first trimester updates and tell you about like the symptoms I was having, some stories that I wanted to share with you, maybe like some vitamins. I can tell you what vitamins I used, what didn't work, what did work for me. But before I get into all of that, I kind of like wanted to tell you more about me and like if I'm married, if I'm a boyfriend, like what's going on there, about my personal life, so that you kind of know me more and more intimate and kind of can, like, just so I just don't tell you just straight up like, this is what happened to me, you know, like you know exactly like the person I am. And anyway, so I met my husband about 9 years ago. Well, I don't know if that's true. So maybe I probably met him like years, like over 9 years ago. But I started talking to him and like dating him 9 years ago. He's like, I met him when I was like 14, and I just fell in love with him and stood by him, and I guess you could say I just couldn't get away from him. But anyways, yeah, so I've been with him since I was 14 years old. So he was like my brother's best friend, and that's how I met him, so that's a whole nother dramatic story there. But anyway, so I've been with him for 9 years. We've been married for 3. I think this is our 4th year that we've been married, but our anniversary is in September. So yeah. What else? I'm looking over here because I'm trying to like stay on track, because I never stay on track for these videos. Let's see. Okay, so did we plan on having kids? And the answer to that question is yes. We kind of wanted to wait until we were in our early 30s before we decided to actually try to have kids. But we also told ourselves that it was up to God, and whenever He wanted us to have kids, we were meant to have kids. So that's like how that went. So we didn't, like I wasn't on birth control or anything like that, and so we kind of weren't preventing it, because we just wanted things to happen the way that they're supposed to happen. So yes, so we weren't planning it, but we were also super happy if it was to happen. And so, funny story, I was 2 weeks late on my period, and I just like, you know how you watch those movies and sorry, I was trying to get that. You know how you watch those movies and they're like, oh, when was your last period? And the girl's like, oh, I don't know, you know, like that's kind of how it was for me. Like I didn't even think anything about being late at all. Anyway, so like I wasn't expecting being pregnant or anything, and I didn't even think, it didn't even cross my mind. So the women I work with were like, because I was kind of like irritable and like just not upset, but like I was just not myself. I was kind of ill a lot and just in a bad mood and was kind of down, and my boobs are sore and stuff like that. And they were like, you need to go take a pregnancy test, because like usually when your boobs are sore, that's like the first symptom. Well, I was just like, nah, my boobs get sore right before my period. Like I'm gonna start my period soon. That's exactly what it is. And anyway, so like I guess like I was just in denial about the whole situation, and I was just like, I'm not pregnant, you know. But then I went on the way home, like their voices kept on inside my head, and they were just like, you need to go take a pregnancy test, like you need to do it. So on the way home, there's a Dollar General, and I stopped in and got me a cheapo pregnancy test that only had one in there. And so I took it when I got home from work. I didn't tell Spencer about it, and I didn't, because I didn't want to like kind of I don't know. I didn't want to tell him because if it was negative, like, what's the point in telling him, you know? So I was just like, whatever. I'm just going to take this by myself, and it's going to be negative. So I told, like, after I took it, I waited I think it was like 3 minutes. They make you wait. It's inside my head, my mind told me that it was negative, and so I was just like, yeah, those lines mean negative. But I was just so like in denial that I made myself believe that it's negative. You know how when people like they really, really want to have a kid, and they like make themselves see that they're on the pregnancy test that they're pregnant, like their eyes play tricks on them. That's what happened to me, and I was just like, oh, this says negative, like whatever. And then like I kept reading the directions because it's those line tests. I didn't get one that says pregnant or not pregnant. I got like the ones with the line, and one line was, see, I already forgot. I don't even know. But anyways, I like started reading the directions, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it is pregnant. Like I was just like so shocked, and I was also scared because I just feel like, I don't know, it's just such a big responsibility, you know, like anyone would be scared to have a kid or to go through the birthing process and stuff like that. Like, it's not that I didn't want to have a kid, I really want to, but I was just really scared, and I was like, oh my God, like, what's gonna happen? Like, is everything gonna be okay? And then I started getting anxiety about everything, but we'll go into that later. But so when I finally like realized I was pregnant, I like went outside, and Spencer was in the living room watching TV, and I didn't even know how to tell him. I was just like, babe, like I opened up our bedroom door, and I was like, babe, I need you to look at something. And he's just thinking I'm a weirdo. He's just like, what the hell is she up to? Like, what? And he's just like, what do you want? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, look at? Like, what? And he was like super confused, and I was just like, honey, like, you need to come in here and look at something. And so he did, and he's just like, well, what does that mean? Because he was just as stupid as I was about these lines. Like, these lines are confusing to people that don't ever take pregnancy tests, so don't judge. But he was just like, what does that mean? And I'm like, it says pregnant. And he's like, no. He's like, where'd you get this test? How much was it? And he was like, it's too cheap. And he's like, it's not pregnant. That does not mean pregnant. You need to go to the doctor, and that will determine whether or not you're pregnant or not. So like all night long, I stood up all night long, like wondering, like, because he made me think that the test was wrong. And so anyways, we both were in denial. So I ended up buying like 6 more pregnancy tests, like expensive ones, that says pregnant or not pregnant, and they are all like, says pregnant. And I like sent him a picture, and he's like, oh shit, like you really may be pregnant. So then we like made a doctor's appointment and all of that, and so yay, we're pregnant. It took us a while to get used to the idea, because I mean, it's just like, when you're not expecting it, like you're kind of like, oh my gosh. But like, we are just so overwhelmed in joy, and we're so happy that we're pregnant. Just like so overwhelmed in joy, and I just really want to like skip everything. I want to skip like being pregnant. I want to just have him or her like right now. Like, I just want them to be in my arms, and like I sit and watch like birthing videos, and I literally like cry, like bawl my eyes out. Like, I just cannot wait for that moment. Anyways, but we can't do that. I can't wait to actually feel like a kick too. I can't wait for that. I'm so excited. Okay, so first trimester update. Let's go to that now. Now that you know like my backstory, and like you know about my life, and you know more about me, I'm gonna talk about like my symptoms I was having in my first trimester. If you just found out that you're pregnant and you're anything like what I went through, or you are going through what or you're about, I cannot talk. If you're about to go through what I went through, I am so sorry. Like, I feel so bad for you because it was terrible, terrible. But I would do it all over again just to have my baby. So, okay. Morning sickness is a completely false statement. It is not morning sickness. It is sickness all day long. At least it was for me. So like, okay, I'm telling you my story. So like if you are completely different, if you went through something completely different, like I'm not saying all women go through this. I'm just telling you like my experience and what I went through in my first trimester. So the first month, I didn't even know I was pregnant. I found out when I was, I want to say 6 weeks. And 6 weeks, like right after I found out, I was super like sick. I was sick all day long, like all day. In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, I could not stop vomiting. Like it was so bad. And on top of that, like you just, first off, nobody likes throwing up at all. But like I couldn't keep any food down at all. If I ate breakfast, I threw it up. If I ate a snack after that because my stomach was hurting so bad, like I would throw that snack up. It was just like non-stop vomiting. Anything I put in my mouth, I threw it back up. And I was just like, I was feeling so sad and so down because like I just couldn't keep anything down. And also I was working full-time. I'm still working, but working full-time and being sick all day long. I basically like stayed in my work bathroom the whole entire time. Like it was awful. If I even like talked to someone, in the middle of talking to someone, I would run to the bathroom and throw up. Like it was so awful. Like I hated every moment of being sick. Another thing that got me was smells. My smelling was so intense, and it still is, but like in my first trimester, it was way, like, I could like smell like a little hint of something and it would make me vomit. Like I would, in the morning, I would open my fridge to like start making breakfast or something, and like food that was in there, like maybe it was leftovers from last night or something like that, like I would literally smell that and I would run to the bathroom and throw up because I smelled food. Like it was just, I couldn't stand the food that I was smelling. If we got dinner, I hated the way that smelled. I wanted to throw up even before I ate. It was just so awful. Morning sickness is false in my book because I feel like it is all day sickness, and it lasted for 2 months for me. Another symptom I had, so the smelling was awful, vomiting was awful, and the third symptom I had was I was constantly sleepy or constantly tired. I am not a nap person at all. Like I never liked naps. I hated naps. I don't do naps. But literally I would sleep like 10 hours, or I would say, I mean sometimes like 9, 8, 10 hours a day. I would come home from work, take an hour nap, then go to bed at 8, go to sleep, like get back up for work and do that all over again. Like I was literally exhausted. I had no energy at work. Like I literally don't know how I got to keep my job at work because I barely made it through working. And like I was just miserable in my first trimester. It was like super hard for me to get over. Some vitamins that I tried in my first trimester, one is the Vita Fusion Prenatal Gummy Vitamins. This is what it looks like. These smell so bad. This is like what they look like inside. They have like a little bit of sugar on top of them that they're supposed to help eat them better. Do not smell these if you get these because they stink so bad. Like in my first trimester, these are the first ones I bought. I could smell them just by taking them out and I would want to vomit. I couldn't really keep these down. I mean, they're supposed to be really easy on your stomach, gentle on the stomach. It even says it right there. I just, like, literally, I couldn't do it. So I'm not even gonna lie. I, like, took these, but, like, it was really hard to take these. Sometimes I would skip. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Like, I would skip taking vitamins because I bought these pills, and they're Nature's Made prenatal multi DHA vitamin. I bought these and I couldn't even swallow these. I could not swallow these because I was so sick, and this pill is massive, okay? I would literally throw those up too. So honestly, I probably didn't get a lot of nutrients to my baby or myself from these vitamins because I was so sick. I couldn't swallow these because they were too big and they made me sick, and I could not stomach these because you have to eat them and they smelled terrible. So that was like my my thing on vitamins. I'm still taking vitamins now, and I can finally like take them, and I feel good, and I can do it because I'm not as sick now. But it was just really hard to keep these vitamins down in my experience. I hope that you don't have to go through any of this sickness and stuff like that. I would love to hear about your experience with your pregnancy and how your first trimester was. Also, if you know the gender of your baby, I would love to know your gender of your baby. I would just love to hear your story. So if you want to comment below, I would absolutely love that. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm so sorry. I literally like just complained about my first trimester the whole entire time. But it was just very, very difficult in my experience, and I hope that you don't have to go through this. I hope that you do not get sick. And anyways, if you like this video, please comment below, and I would love to meet you and talk to you. I hope your first trimester is better than mine, and congratulations if you are expecting.